Ichi ni Sanda. And we have AEW news. MJF speaks on WWE counter-programming AEW. So MJF says, you mean shows that are running at the exact same time as us, even though they claim we're not competition? How do I feel about it? I think it's a smart business practice. I give jolly old St. Nick and Trips a whole lot of credit. At the end of the day, if you can't stomp out your competition, you're doing what is necessary. Don't judge them for it, but also don't be stupid. They're not doing this by happenstance. This isn't circumstantial. None of it is. Yeah, exactly. He's right about that. And also, I'll say this. He's not burying WWE because he knows he's going to go there one day, right? And MJF's not stupid, even if this means he has 10 million in the bank and then goes there and makes $1 million a year or $750K a year, which I'm sure he knows that he's going to make more than that, or he at least anticipates making more than that. At the end of the day, he's a pro wrestler at heart, and he's going to go to WWE, and he's going to add that notch on his like, you think he's just off doing Netflix movies, and he's going to, I'm just going to stay in AEW the rest of my career? No, he's going to be in WWE one day. Like, that's a lifelong goal for sure, and he will be. I could see him maybe. I don't know if Cody Rhodes is champ and MJF gets there while Rhodes is champ. I could see them politicking and getting a world title match out of that. I just don't know if MJF, he'll have to reinvent himself in a way where he's not just like making the small dick jokes and like, hey, you're fat. He can't just go back, rely on that. He's going to have to like go past the 6th grade. Oh, middle finger, huh? I'm a dick, aren't I? I'm your scumbag. It's going to like have to be more than that in WWE. But still some of that, but more than that, So here is this quarter hour that drop for the Ospreay Swerve match. I don't know if they missed the peak on Will or if he just never was the guy, but he ain't the guy now. Will never peaked yet. He's an indie guy famous on the internet for Japan and all that sort of that he was doing, TNA and all that stuff. And they had the opportunity to build him up. But what they did was they brought him into the company, said, look, he's the second coming of Jesus Christ. He's the greatest wrestler ever. Look, he's a super wrestler. That's what they were calling him. And look at all these 5-star matches, and then people watch and they go, well, come on, it wasn't that, right? So it's just disingenuous. And then he's a guy, what has his buildup been the last 2 years or year? Hey, I'm in a tag match with Swerve and the Bucks, and I'm not even a world champion yet, and I can't ever come in the clutch. Like everybody that gets booked in this show. So he's just close, but no cigar, and here's the same you've already seen. Did they miss the boat? I don't think there was a boat. I think they built him up entirely wrong. And I think he cut promos that hurt them more than it helped them. And it popped the sickos in the crowd that night. Because if you mention WWE, they pop for it because WWE's over. It's just like in TNA when they did the same thing. They kept focusing on WWE too much back in the day. And like bringing in those old guys and being like, over there, brah, that company, dude. You don't do that. Not saying you don't acknowledge, but it would have served AEW better if they like tried to compete, but like even work with WWE. I think that would have helped them more, like catapult them a bit because they had real money backing them. But instead it was all like, we're going to give you this alternative. And then the alternative's just like, here's what we were doing on the indies already, but just in bigger buildings. And it's like, well, no, that's not what a weekly TV show alternative is, right? It still's got to be a TV show with like sensical things happening, incredible opponents. They just lost the plot somewhere, and I just don't think there was a ship. I don't think Ospreay's ever been a TV draw. He's not a TV star. He's like a TV star as far as like, if you're on a fucking show every week, you're a TV star. It doesn't matter how many ratings the fucking show gets. But we're talking like in comparison, though. No, you know what I mean? More people know who fucking Eugene Levy is in 2025 still than they know Will Ospreay. And I don't know why I thought of his name, but he's always in a sitcom or whatever the fuck, Schitt's Creek or whatever. He's always doing something. He's always in a commercial or some shit with his kid. More people know who that is than Will Ospreay. AEW unified title, Tony Khan at the media call, which we have a lot of clips from that, a lot of just me reading in the Tony Khan voice. He says that the AEW international and continental titles are not being retired. So, like, what's the definition of the word fucking unified? I think someone posted it. I might even have it bookmarked, but we're going to steal that bit here. So yeah, unified definition refers to a single, cohesive, and consistent understanding or explanation of something achieved by bringing together or combining different elements, perspectives, or components. So Tony's going to bring them together to create the unified title, but then they're not retired. And then he goes on to say on the media call, we might see people carry all 3 belts. Triple Crown, they have all 3. And he's like, yeah, the Continental Classic's coming back. And we might see, the person, defend their lineages will be intact and continued by the unified title, but they might carry all 3. Like, it's just so fucking stupid. It's just such mark bullshit trying to recreate the imagery of like Ospreay holding 5 belt, Omega with 6 belts, and they can put it in the fucking Observer or whatever. And it's just Tony Khan like buying and falsifying history by doing like weird mark shit. That's
the best guys, Tony Khan.
Like, why would there be 3 fucking belts? Why would that even make sense? Just fucking unify them. We just read the definition of the word right there. So no, the whole point, then why is it called the unified title, you dipshit? Fuck. It's so markish, bro. He just wants every toy. It's like his wrestling collection. Well, even though this belt is a unification of this belt, all 3 belts could still get split up and they might as well carry all 3. This is a belt for having 2 belts. That's what Tony created. So the unified title is, if you win 2 belts, you get a belt for that now. So look at what Mercedes has. Speaking of boys and gals, look at what Mercedes, we're in little kid love here with Mercedes and Mortos, and he will just do goddamn anything to secure this bag. No, I'm just joking, but he's in love, dude. They're in high school kid love. Look at what Mercedes has Beast, Mortis, and Dralistico doing.
She was a fairy. Yeah. She was a fairy. Yeah.
So this is like a TikTok sound I'm gonna get pegged for.
She was a fairy. Yeah. She was a fairy with a fatty.
And then they start dancing, doing their thing. And they have like a whole movie studio trailer. Like she pulls up her whole fucking trailer. And this was talked about as well. I think it's in this news here. MVP or someone revealed on a podcast that like everyone gets their own dressing rooms in AEW. And that's what I told y'all like a fucking year ago or so, or maybe a little under, as far as like, you guys, the reason, like Tony Khan admitted it. He said like, yeah, it's just more convenient pretty much for us to go to these bigger buildings. And that's what I tried to explain to everyone for so long. This isn't fan service, going to these empty buildings, paying more for parking than the ticket of the show, paying fucking $8 for a hot dog and $12 for a fucking tall beer. Like, that's not fan service. The reason he does that is because everyone needs their dressing rooms, and Monet's got a fucking trailer with her own makeup lady, like a movie set style trailer. And this is why these egos get fucking put out of whack here. Everyone has their trailers. Punk had his trailer, and it's different than the fucking dressing room of the Bucks and blah, 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 right? So even Randy Orton, he's got his own bus. Okay, but he goes and changes with the boys in the locker room. Like, there has to be a team vibe, some semblance of that. And the majority of folks in AEW went from indie nothing, hot dog and a handshake, to fucking getting everything paid for. I'm on 6 figures, and I fucking am hanging out in a dressing room with the Bucks, and we have our own room, and they make sure there's enough room for me at every show we go to. Think about that, right? Mercedes just making Mortis cringe himself. Hey, people do wild shit for love. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. MJ from NJ says, who is lying and who's telling the truth? So on TV Inside, MJF says all of those top wrestlers used to have creative control in WCW, but here in AEW, only a selected few has creative control. And then on the All in Texas media call, Tony Khan says, Mercedes Moné does not have any creative control. He calls the rumors surrounding the topic untrue and ridiculous. I am the only person with creative control over the show. I've had the final say since day one. Okay, then why have you and everyone else refuted that? Well, no, hold on. And I've explained this too. Tony's right here. Like, he has the final say. But every wrestler has a degree of creative control in all of wrestling. If they say, you're going to be the Pink Panther, pal, Jacques Clouseau, you can say no. You can say, Jacques Clouse, no, I'm not fucking doing that. And okay, you might not get booked. You might get fired. You might get buried. You're allowed to turn shit down. Okay, in even WWE. Anywhere you work, you're allowed to. It's not like there's a gun to your head and you have to fucking, that's any job too, realistically. At the end of the day, for Tony Khan, he's a lying carny, and he's just like, I'm the only person. No, but the buck does stop with him, and that's why the show sucks, and he just admitted it here. I have the final say. He sucks. His creative sucks. You know, the shows, he doesn't know how to format them properly. Ultimately, has the final say. I told y'all, if it comes down to Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné, that's a debate that has to be had, and Tony Khan's going to have the final say of who wins in that shit. It's not like Monet can go, I'm booking myself like this and you have to do it. But she can also go, I'm not going to lose to Tony. Why would she do that? Here's the thing, right? She's convinced Tony Khan, she has his ear, and her and Pepperman goes over her lines and all the ideas and works closely with Tony. That's how they word it, because he has the final say. Tony Khan's the type of dude that if you get his ear, you can make him think shit is his idea. And I've chronicled it on this show. Moxley says the same shit, but in character. But he says the same shit almost verbatim CM Punk said. And CM Punk got sued and made everyone feared for his life, or he had to sue people and he gets in fights backstage. It's because they make him think it's his idea. The Young Bucks can worm their little way in because they're EVPs, and they obviously know how to schmooze up to Tony. They've been doing it for fucking 6 years now, plus better, like almost a decade now that they've known him. Mercedes Moné knows and does the same thing, and it's one of her favorite it's one of his favorite toys. She has his ear, and so at the end of the day, she's not going to refuse to lose to Tony Storm because that makes her look unprofessional. But Tony isn't going to sit there and go, well, I really need Storm to lose the belt or like to keep the belt. You know, it's not like that's in his plans. His plans is we need 500 belts on Monet right now. Right. So he's going to go along with it. And so if I'm smart enough to at least understand that about a guy like Tony Khan, and that's why I understand, like, that's why I'm blocked by the sickos. That's why there's certain people who wouldn't fucking come on my show, even though they might like the shit I'm saying, you know, because they don't want to fucking ruffle those feathers or bark up that tree, you know, I guess, is that the right? I don't know. Either way, they like money, and they, right. Everybody who doesn't. And so with Monet, yes, there's a degree of creative control more than the next man. Is it written in her contract she can usurp any Tony? No. But if it boils down to her and Megan Boehner in a room, and it's like, and Mercedes says, I want this to happen, Tony's going to make sure that happens. And that's what happens when you're a fucking star, or you're a perceived star, or when someone values you. It's like there's those stories about, oh, the quarterback falls asleep during tape study and they fucking bring him a pillow. Right? But you're the 4th string quarterback. You get fucking cut for that. Right? If you're a perceived star, Tony just sees her, and these feds all see her as like, we're going to push her to the moon, give her 15 belts. And that just is what it is. Tony's dropped and won that belt back a number of times, so it doesn't hurt her any. Like, it doesn't bury Tony to lose this match at all. And then if Mercedes loses it, I mean, the sickos would melt down. Her fans would melt down. Everyone would laugh. People would celebrate. It'd be the smart thing to do if you want to go viral. But ultimately, you just have to have Tony Khan's ear, dude. Tony McKhan. You just have to have his ear, and then you're allowed to do whatever you want. We have further evidence, too, because Monet herself said, I have creative control. In AEW, this is what MVP had to say. I think I alluded to it earlier. He said, in AEW, you have certain talent that they have their own dressing room, like the Elite, Mercedes Moné, Jericho, Samoa Joe, Moxley. He just named like 12 people. No, it's like, how many? The Elite. So that's like fucking 5 people. How many people are in the Elite? 4 guys, let's say 4. And then you have Mercedes. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8. Who do we appreciate? Tony Khan. This is great. 5, 6, 7, 8. Everything is fucking great. Holy shit, man. All these dressing rooms. Wild, dude. Lashley has one. I'm fucking positive of it. That Hurt Syndicate have one. So Red Velvet tweets out, and she's not even going to be there. She's in Ring of Honor. She's fucking hurt. Dave Meltzer's trashing her in CMLL. And Red Velvet says, when All In hits Texas, you already know I'm showing out. Order All In. I think she's from Texas too, if I'm not mistaken. But listen to this. Order All In on Prime Video and get a $10 credit just for buying it. So, like, where's Max? This thing makes such little money. Oh, actually up 30% from Amazon, Brian. That's what Dave will say. The pay-per-view's up. It was a huge success. You'll add a 30% onto the invisible 30% from last time for this one. And what they have to do on this show, Max can't even put and they won't even put because they could just do it tomorrow. They could just put $50 buy watch here on Max. But they have to go to Prime Video and buy this pay-per-view for $50. And if you order it, you get a $10 credit on some other shit on Prime Video. This is supposed to be their WrestleMania show. Why not just air it for free on fucking Max and pop their number? Because Max doesn't have enough people on there to get 500,000. There's not even enough people with Max to have 500,000 people that would watch AEW, let alone All In, and they won't even sell the fucking pay-per-views on there because it's such a bust. If this isn't further proof of that, dummies will tell you it fucking isn't. Again, we have Chris Statlander, who won't, or is she on the card? Oh, she's in the Battle Royal. Good news, everyone. If you purchase All In for this Saturday and watch me enter as number 1 in the Casino Gauntlet, you increase my chances of winning and you get a $10 credit from Prime Video. What the fuck, man? This is some Brendan Schaub level marketing right here. Neckbeard says this pay-per-view must be selling really well, right? You get a Prime Video credit. Kenny Omega tells the Wrestling Observer about his comments about Logan Paul earlier. He said, because you remember he made the comments about, oh, it's going to be Logan Paul versus Mr. Beast at WrestleMania soon. And then he just retracts it. He's like, I brought up Logan Paul and I didn't mean it in a negative context whatsoever. Where I said we could be looking at Paul versus Beast. That was in jest. And I get that, Kenny. You're being salacious and entertaining and all that shit. But there's like, you're in the middle of a wrestling war. Now you're apologizing for saying what you said. And what you said was fucking dumb. It really was. But it's all good. I'm not like, burn him at the stake. I still want to see Omega in WWE. But it's never going to happen. I don't know if it'll ever happen. I'm really doubting it as the days go by. He says, but I was just bringing up a name that has a huge following and people would recognize immediately. With the amount of time that you have for preparation, I have no doubt in my mind that with creative minds that are behind the driving force of WWE, they would be able to put something together that's pretty entertaining. Is it going to be pro wrestling the way we knew it when we grew up? No, of course not. Kenny, you were sticking your fingers in dudes' buttholes and wrestling 9-year-olds. Like literally, that's not in jest. That's like an actual literal, using the word literally in its actual fucking context. Like, bro, you know what I mean? I don't know what your interpretation of the wrestling you grew up on, I think might be vastly different than others. But I digress on that. But anyways, no, of course not. But the fans like it. If people are willing to buy it, if they're selling it by the hundreds of thousands, bro, Kenny Omega's talking like Logan Paul isn't a better wrestler than fucking 95% of the AEW. If Logan Paul went to AEW tomorrow and they're like, put on this Ospreay style match, could Logan Paul not hang? He would 100% hang in that match. I promise you. I fucking promise you, dude. They have this boner for fucking Paul because Shawn Michaels trained Logan Paul to just take shots at AEW's guys by doing all their fucking moves and making it look cleaner than they do. That's why they're so mad at Logan Paul. Like, watch Logan Paul do a fucking one-winged angel and finish a match, whatever his next match is. Watch him finish someone with a one-winged angel, and I'll just hysterically laugh. Even though I do like Kenny, it's just because you're just begging for it. And then why is Dave and Alvarez baiting you into fucking... Well, because this is why. They know that it's going to get headlines and clicks, and they just want attention on AEW. And how do you get attention on AEW? They have to talk about WWE to do that, as time and time again that's been proven. Anyways, yeah, Kenny just says, with the current day AEW, I do think we have been a little more grounded in the professional wrestling aspect of what we do on our shows. I disagree. Blake Christian the other week just walked the ropes for like 1 minute. And before Ospreay did anything about it, or he did anything, and it made everybody look fucking stupid. We've used special guests. We've used Shaquille O'Neal, Mike Tyson, Snoop Dogg, all people who've distanced themselves to go with WWE, by the way. The Costco dudes, he called them, which we have a video from them as well. The Costco dudes. So yeah, they're called the Costco guys, actually. And I actually went to Costco, had a Costco dog, had a poutine, didn't get a chicky bake, but my wife's like, I have a recipe, so she's gonna make me some chicky bakes. But they're actually gonna be at All In, believe it or not. And so he's like, you'll always have that in professional wrestling. Yeah, you can't take shots when you have the fucking Costco guys as your big pull. You know, you're just sounds jelly. So Tony Khan says he never had a conversation with Britt Baker about departing AEW. And I'm just like, oh, go figure. You think? Dude, of course you're not going to have a conversation with anyone who leaves. I quote tweeted it and said that. He never has conversations with anyone who leaves AEW. And it went semi-viral, I guess. But yeah, he's never had a conversation with her about leaving because, Tony, why aren't you calling Britt Baker? You know, or are you saying you do talk to her, but she's never brought up leaving? And if she hasn't, it's because she's scared to and she wants to be nice to you and shit, bro. But you don't have conversations. Anyone who's ever left, everybody says Tony just goes. So it is what it is, man. Deonna Purrazzo had this to say again, man. She's been wrestling indies. They stuck her on Ring of Honor. She's like, guys, actually, I'm fucking studying to be a doctor and I'm working in Ring of Honor and I'm doing this. And I just climbed the fucking Empire State Building or whatever, try and keep up with all the shit I'm doing. She was in a commercial during Dynamite for like, hey, at this institute, sign up for this institute today or whatever, or some university or whatever the fuck. And then she's in Ring of Honor. I think she lost her match. I'm not even fucking sure because we haven't seen her. She's not an All In. And then she starts talking about AEW recently. So I think on the Monday show, we covered how maybe on the Monday show, maybe the Saturday show, she was talking about like, people have creative control like Mone, or this is what she had to say right here, actually. So we didn't cover this aspect yet, but she was saying something about the TNA locker room is what it was. She's like, the TNA locker room's way better. Like it's the best locker room I've ever been in. NXT's more competitive. AEW, it's super competitive and da-da-da-da-da. She basically said like the locker room she's in now isn't as good as the TNA one, which is crazy. Now she has this to say. She's stooging. So again, talking about creative control and who has it and who doesn't. Deonna, from her witness, this is her witness, her eyewitness testimony here. She says, right now, Mercedes Moné, who is Sasha Banks in WWE, kind of gets that open forum to be like, I'd like to work with this person, and these are my ideas. And then the writers kind of not necessarily conform, but they do listen to what she has to say. Well, she doesn't have creative control, though. Well, what is that? I don't necessarily have that type of pull per se, but I definitely think that women are growing in that position in our industry. It just takes role. And so what did Purrazzo just say? I don't have that pull per se, but I can suggest my own shit is what she's saying. Oh, so everyone has a degree of creative control? And the fucking dirt sheets are spurging out, being like, we're right. No, we're right. No, we're right. No, we're right. Creative control. No creative control. No creative control. The whole point of AEW's creative control. Like the boys are in it for the boys. That's what RVD said. He said it best. In WWE, you can turn down goofy shit. You can turn down romantic angles, all types of shit. So Purrazzo's just blowing up everyone's spot and confirming what Phil Marks has been saying. That's all I'm saying. It just takes role models to be like, I'm going to break the mold. I'm going to push that boundary. I'm going to get myself in that position to then let other people follow in their footsteps. That was courtesy of the Digital Social Hour. Speaking of Mercedes Moné, here's what she had to say about her creative control when TMZ caught up with her a while back.
Okay, but are you really? Do you have more creative control than do her job too?
I got this. I think just every single week you gotta watch. Yes, I have creative control, but I work with Tony Khan very closely, so it's great. It's a great combo.
I work with Tony Khan very closely. It's great. It's a great combo. Everything around Tony is just great. Of course, it's all great, dude. Tony Khan provides an update on Britt Baker, though, and he says, I've never had a conversation about Britt departing AEW. I like Britt a lot. I think one thing we've done really well with AEW is build a tight, focused show around a really strong roster. She hasn't been on TV in over a fucking year, Tony. And it's been very consistent. No, it's not. It's inconsistent with Britt. That's why she's a topic of discussion. You are a carny-ass lying motherfucker. He's getting worse as the time's going, dude. And I think we've really had a very, very good year of pay-per-views and TV. What does that have to do with Britt? Absolutely, there are some people that have not been featured. We have a great group of wrestlers that have not necessarily been on the show a lot, or even in some cases in 2025 that are very talented that we would like to work back in when the opportunity presents itself. Well, if you're doing so great, then why not split the show into two rosters and do something with Collision? Oh, it's probably going to get canceled for UFC? Oh, it's probably going to get canceled for fucking NASCAR? Or whatever the fuck. Yeah, dude. When that Big Bang spinoff comes out and you guys are gonna have to fucking move, get kicked off Wednesdays because they're gonna lead into that show with Big Bang. Like, what the fuck, man? On a baseball team, you use 9 players at a time. In NFL, you can put 11 in at a time. Holy shit, Tony, that's real sports. This is why you do that. And also, you have a certain number of players that can be active on your team. You have to have scratches and shit. Like, you can't in any sport. There's a limit to how many you can have on your bench, though. So when we're talking like, you got all these people fucking benched, man. People that people want to see. You're fucking up, dude. So no, don't compare it to real sports, you dipshit. Oh my God. I'm just going hard on Tony because fuck it. NBA or college basketball, it's 5-on-5. Pro wrestling is unique because you can yeah, but can't you only have like 12 people dressed or like, you know, on a bench or whatever, man? So yeah, where's your core 12, right? Because the ones you're using ain't it. I think we've done a great job of using a lot of the roster this year. We haven't used everybody. Well, that's then why are they on the roster? That's the question everyone's asking, Tony. There are some really talented people on our bench that we can call in that can be a great part of the show. And I absolutely think that applies to a number of women and men that are not necessarily being featured right now that we could bring in. That would be great. Focus on the show as those spots open up. See, here's the problem. They're not training. They're not practicing. They're not on B shows. They're not doing live events. They're not training at your performance center. Like, at least people who are benched are used on the practice squad and have to stay in shape. The backup goalie's dressed and he's got to be ready to go. That's not happening. And these wrestlers' stock goes down when they're not on fucking TV, Tony. So this isn't like, oh, you know, the guy we just drafted who's like the 3rd string didn't play this year because he fucking, you know what I mean? It's not like that, Tony. These are people like Wardlow's not getting any younger. Why is he on the bench? Hasn't he ever been your world champion? It's a fumble, bro. Right situation, right time. No, that's not how you build good TV. So this is why your TV show's dying, because you're not in the right headspace of how to book TV. TV, we need good storylines, and we don't just need people who can be thrown in there just because. Okay? Jesus Christ. We've done a really good job with people like who? It's just you guys saying you're doing a really good job. Stop trying to convince everyone. I'm from the show me state. You ain't got to tell me. Fucking show me. What's that from? I think like a season of The Ultimate Fighter or something. And then Junie Browning like threw a glass at the guy who said that. Whatever. But that doesn't mean we can't focus on other people or rotate different people into the show going forward. So that's his bargaining chip of Britt. I haven't talked to her about leaving, but it doesn't mean I can't rotate her in when I'm done with like Megan Bain or whatever. No vision, no originality, no real vision of where he's going. I said vision twice. Right, but Vision Quest. WandaVision. Am I right? It's like, hey, Britt Baker, so about her. Well, we've done really good pay-per-views this year that she wasn't on. What? What are you talking about?